Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in to the Bama Standard post-game show on the heels of an Alabama victory in the SEC Championship. Alabama takes down Georgia 27-24, 2023 national champs. And we are streaming live right here, not only on this channel, but on Teague's Take YouTube channel as well. We've got a big show, and we had to have a big cast. Before we do anything at all, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, live chat. Yeah, you do your thing. If you're watching the replay, get in the comment section and show us some love. Like I said, we couldn't do this without an all-star panel, and they are here because of our sponsor, Workspace Solutions. If your business needs a digital presence or a full-fledged marketing team, go to workspacepros.com today and get things started. All right, to start things out, we couldn't do this without the undefeated, undisputed king of comedy and star of the show, Steve Brown.
Hey, man, I'm glad to be here, man. Glad to be with such an all-star panel. Even though I am the star and people watch just for me, but I'm glad that you guys are here, and I'm sorry I'm late. I was celebrating in the streets. All of my neighbors are Georgia fans, and I had to run down the street butt naked screaming, "Oh, roll tide," and that's what I did. So now I'm back. Yeah.
He showed
George,
him
don't say nothing. George, don't do it.
I'm gonna have you on your little one of your little clips. The thing, what does it say? How to say something without saying something, or what?
Yeah.
So we are not going to be short of any comedy tonight. Right next to him is a two-time SEC champion and two-time national champion and the U.S. heavyweight champion of the world. That is Chris Owens.
You know.
Whoa, showing the bling tonight.
It seems like every week we have another set of fans crying. Every week.
Man.
People always crying.
And we're going to open up a therapy line shortly after this episode. Next to him, or down below him, rather, he's a part of the Final Whistle on Tuesday nights. He is never short of anything to say. His name is Luscion. Welcome in, sir.
You know, I heard all these Georgia fans with this narrative about this 29-0, 3 to go. Well, I'm pretty sure it's 29-1, and there might be done. Them girls got fun tonight, boys. Let's go roll tide, boys.
Roll tide.
All right, next to him is actually the star, or one of the stars of Teague's Take, and he just actually jumped out. So we're going to put him on pause, but we have a legend in the midst. He is the owner of the greatest play in Alabama history, the Strip. He's a 1992 SEC champion and national champion, and he's the star of Defending the Star, George Teague. Welcome in, sir.
Hey, man, it's good to be here with y'all. And yeah, boy, I'm ready to shake all them haters off because my phone was blowing up with all kind of mess, and I got crickets from all them haters.
I know. Hey, man, but you know what the thing is? I'm kind of disappointed because my favorite Teague left. There he is. My favorite Teague is back. There he is. My favorite Teague. The real Teague.
That's it. And how fitting
I appreciate that.
How fitting it is to have George Teague, who was on the first SEC championship team, and this was the last one with the two divisions, so couldn't be more excited. All right, next to him is the star of the Final Whistle, Dan James.
Hey, y'all, let's go ahead and get through this because we got to go and move Mercedes-Benz to Tuscaloosa. You know what I'm saying? Got to move stadium to Tuscaloosa. You know what I'm saying? We got to put it in his real home.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Last but not least, he is the co-host of Teague's Take, and according to Steve, the better Teague. Ladies and gentlemen, James J.T. Teague. Welcome in, sir.
Glad to be here.
Yes, sir. Glad to have everyone in here. Well, let's start things off. Guys, I don't know if you really want to spend much time as far as the questions you have when going in, but let's talk about that. What were we thinking about going into this game that Alabama needed to do? And more importantly, how were those questions answered? The star of the show, Steve Brown, lead us off. Then we'll go to Chris Owens, down to Luscion, George, Dan, and then JT will round it out.
Man, personally, man, I think Alabama just outplayed them at every level. And I think we were more physical, and I think we had the number. I think Kevin Steele did a great job as far as preparing the guys for them. Those little tonal screens they like to run. They pretty much took Brock Bowers out of the game. And we did really, really well. I think the only thing that really pulled the rest of my twigs out I was just trying to grow was Jalen Milroe holding the ball a little bit too long. But other than that, man, we looked phenomenal. That was a great game.
Most definitely. Chris Owens, I know that you've been talking on Twitter this year, and I think you projected this and your phone's blowing up. But you don't want to talk to them. You want to talk to us. What were your thoughts going in, and how did we respond in your eyes?
Yeah, I think the only thing that I really wanted to see was how would we respond once we got punched in the mouth a little bit. There's been a couple of times where Georgia's gotten the edge on us early, and so it was going to be really big for us in this game to respond. And I thought we did a wonderful job. I think early on we kind of got a little lax, a little anxiety, but after a while we started controlling the line of scrimmage. The big plays started coming. Milroe started heating up with his legs and then started making the throws with his arms. So, I'm happy. And in our defense, with their weapons, we knew if we stopped the run, we would make them throw the ball. And Carson Beck had been playing really well the past few weeks. So whether the receivers are hurt or not, I personally don't care. Whoever's on the field, you have to lock them down. And I think our defense responded to the challenge very well.
Absolutely. Before we get down to Luscion, I want to give a shout out for our first super chat of the evening. Qbert 3343 499. Now that's how the O-line is supposed to play. RTR. Yeah, no doubt. Luscion, you're never a man who holds anything back. Talk to us, brother. What kind of questions did you have, or concerns even, going in, and how did we respond? You're on mute, sir. There we go.
I had a question about one thing in this game, and that was, were we going to be able to be more physical than Georgia? We line up against them. We match up against them better, in my opinion, and statistically in most categories than them. So we had the advantage there. My question was, were we going to get it done in the trenches? Was our offensive line going to be able to punch back them little bully dogs? And we did. And everyone's like, oh, Caden Proctor's going to be a liability. Well, I seen Caden Proctor throw dudes.
Yeah.
I seen Jaden Roberts throw dudes. Them little puppy dogs was getting moved on that D-line all night. And I'm telling you one thing right now, Bama Nation, please be so confident, because Jalen Milroe did not play his best game by far tonight, which should scare and shock the nation, because, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you something right now. When he actually reaches his height, oh, man, I'm telling you, He gonna put up about 5, 6, 7, maybe by himself, and that's just with his arm, because he doesn't have to just beat a team with his legs. Because once he starts settling in as a quarterback,
it's over.
It's over. Like I said, in Tommy Reese tonight, the Mad Hatter was in his handbag again.
I love it. I love the energy. And hey, how about some energy from Danko Hawkins? $20 super chat. Man, we appreciate you greatly. George, the man of the hour. We talked a little bit before the game. I wanted to pick your brain a little bit to find out how exactly you take notes during the game. And you mentioned that you look at it through several different lenses: a former player, a coach, a fan, an analyst. So give me an idea of what you were looking at, what kind of questions you had, and how they were answered.
Well, going in, I think I might have showed you a screenshot of what I said to someone earlier, and I was really concerned about whether or not we're going to be able to stop their running game. I felt the team that had the best running game was actually going to win the game, which did kind of hold true. I just didn't know how we were going to do it if we could actually stop them based upon what happened against Auburn. So holding them under 100 yards rushing and not having anybody even, barely tops 100. I don't know what their thing was. Final was two yards a carry or something. That's outstanding. And winning an explosive play battle. So when I do look at these sheets that I showed you later, there's a lot of stuff written on there that I'm putting down during the game. Actually helps JT and I when we start to dissect things a little bit later the day after. What were the formations? What did they see? And you know what I saw is we actually looked a whole lot more identical than I thought we would be. Unbalanced sets. They were running a lot of those. They actually were running exactly some of the same plays. Unbelievable. I was like, wait a minute. Who's in whose playbook? Because they're running the exact same plays. It just we executed those plays better too when you go look at it. So our execution was good. I am hyped, fellas. I am good to go. I don't know. I might pull a Steve Brown right when we get off this thing.
No, don't do that. No, because you're
I
not.
think I'm going out there on the street.
Don't do it, Steve.
Don't do it because you're not built like me. You're not built as sexy as me. Don't do it.
That's why I need to do it because
George, you don't have that crispy brown head either.
They thought when they saw him, they thought it was a milk dud running down.
A furry milk dud.
No, hey, Don Parker, man, we greatly appreciate your $5. Can we all now agree that the committee is now irrelevant? Like, no cupcakes for Georgia tonight. We saw Alabama play murder ball tonight, and we'll get to the playoff talk a little bit later in the show, but we will tackle that. Dan James, let's hear from you, brother. What kind of questions did you have going in, or maybe even concerns, and how did we ultimately respond to it?
Yes, my question going in, we talked about it Tuesday, was like, could we play mistake free? For the most part, we did that. We did a great job of not beating ourselves. Because I said, Georgia wasn't going to beat themselves. And another thing that I take away from the game, we were 3 drop balls away from this being a blowout. There was the drop by Benson, the drop interception by Amos, and the drop interception by Story. Those 3 drops, this game is completely out of hand. You know what I'm saying? So I think for the most part, we dominated the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball. When have we ever seen Kirby get cute on short yardage? It's just crazy, man. So I think for the most part, we played a great game. Unfortunately, we didn't have a healthy Jaheim Otis. I think it would have been a much better game for us. But all in all, I think we played sound and we beat Georgia. Playing our ball. It's not Georgia ball. That is our ball. You know what I'm saying? So I got to say that I was quite impressed.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing. You mentioned a very key point right there. Georgia is used to people self-destructing. Georgia is used to having gifts being given to them. They're not used to being punched and then repeatedly punched. They are not used to Bama ball. And my question going into the game for them really was, what would happen to them if they came up face-to-face with that, nowhere to go, they're in quicksand? Did they respond? I felt better about us going in because we've dealt with adversity all year long. Jalen Milroe was in quicksand from the first half of this season. He climbed out of it, and now he's arguably the best player on the team. Right. A hero, a guy who's going to be on Daniel Moore print coming up soon. Georgia didn't have all that. They really had the easiest schedule. Just call it what it is. So they didn't have to face adversity. And I think that was really ultimately what their undoing was. But JT, let's hear from you. Let's hear. You're usually analytical. And what kind of questions you have going in? You actually picked the Dogs to win. Y'all be careful. Don't go after him.
What?
But he picked the Dogs to win by 4. But
what?
He
what?
He's objective.
Hold on.
Explain. It's Justin. You're gonna have to sit down on this one because Steve gonna have to get this dude. Gonna have to get this dude.
I thought maybe George would have did it, but not my favorite team. Come on, JT, man.
We'll see here. Look. The difference
redeem
is
yourself, JT, because Dan's got his baby powder out.
Yeah.
The difference is I usually look at things very objectively. See, the rest of y'all, everybody they got all your Alabama gear on. That's fine. I'm an Alabama fan too, but we hadn't played our best ball all year, and we still haven't.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not that I thought that we couldn't beat Georgia. I thought they wouldn't beat Georgia. There's a difference. There's a difference between who is going to actually show up off the bus. So that the questions that I had going in was, could we actually run the ball?
Check.
And could we keep the quarterback upright?
Check.
And I was worried that those 2 things might not happen. Thankfully, I was wrong about that because our offensive line stepped up and they played well. And some of the things that probably should have worried me, like Kool-Aid going down, didn't bother me at all because, another hot take. I don't think Kool-Aid is the best corner on our team.
Oh my God!
That's not a hot take. That's not a hot take, JT. Everybody on this panel can healthily agree. Terrion Arnold is our best corner.
I've been saying that.
It's been said on the Bama Standard and the Final Whistle. It's been echoed. We riding with the ghost.
I'm about to get naked again. Listen, man, I've been saying
Don't do that.
Year
Welcome
long.
to our
Let me tell you
OnlyFans
something, man.
stream.
And honestly, JT, can you agree with this?
Not till 9 o'clock.
Kool-Aid has been playing all year to not get hurt. And when you play not to get hurt and you don't really play physical, you get hurt. And I think that's what happened to him tonight. He's looking ahead. He's not, to me, he's playing selfish, not playing physical football like Terrion. Terrion is a complete dog. He's in your group. I've never seen Kool-Aid do that one time. Now,
he did come up and run support early in the game. Now give him that.
One out of how many plays?
So I don't know if I'd go so far
help.
to say that he's looking ahead, but
And
I think he's just a guy.
Himself.
I think he's just a guy who was hanging out in the parking lot and he saw a group of guys and decided to walk on the field. Hey, this looks like a cool place to hang out, because he doesn't really look dialed into any game, no matter the magnitude of any game. But Terrion on the other side, he's a difference maker, and he is going to put whoever is in front of him in the dirt. It doesn't matter if you're 5'6" or you're 6'5". He's going after you. That man went head to head with Brock Bowers and said, damn it, you're going down. And I don't care what it takes or what I break in my body to get your ass down. It's going to happen. Kool-Aid, honestly, can you say that he has that kind of drive?
No.
You just got a crazy promo just now.
You like that?
I don't know that I can speak to Terrion's, or not Terrion, Kool-Aid's mindset. But what I will say is I think Kool-Aid is the more talented corner. Talented, yes. Just raw talent. Kool-Aid is the more talented corner, but Terrion is way more technical. His footwork is better. His hands are better. His eyes are better. Those kind of things, I think, elevate you as a football player. But I mean, it's just, I'm trying to think of a sports comparison, like a Michael Jordan and LeBron. Like LeBron, whoever you think the GOAT is between those two, LeBron's a better athlete, regardless.
Okay, now after you said that,
but to what you just said,
Steve, pause. Steve, what?
After you just said that, I don't like you or your daddy. Where your uncle?
Where's Langham at?
But to what he just said, if you're saying Kool-Aid is the better natural athlete, they both came in as true basketball players, right? So you would think since Kool-Aid got the first experience, he would be the better corner. But in phase, Terrion Arnold's played multiple positions in the secondary. Kool-Aid's only been a corner. Terrion's played star. He started as a safety, and now he's our starting corner. So technically, Terrion Arnold is not only the better athlete, he's the better technician because he's perfected 3 different positions.
So, hold on. So I would say, I think we're trying to say, would you say that Deion Sanders, I was a better athlete than Deion Sanders or something like that?
Yes,
no.
I would.
You were.
I would.
No,
I definitely would.
On that comparison, you can't do that. I played safety. I played nickel. I played corner.
That's more athletic than somebody that
changed
can just play one
carburetors.
position, though. To me,
and play guardian of the star.
Right? If you could be a defender and play multiple positions, you're a better asset to a defense than somebody that can just lock down one area. To me,
hey man, you know what? I would just say this: Kool-Aid, he got the hype, the preseason hype, all that. But honestly, the eye test tells me that Terrion plays a lot harder. That's
the
just what it
stats
is.
do.
Yeah, he plays a lot harder, man.
I agree.
Kool-Aid got the edge because his name is Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
You want to be Terrion or you want to be Kool-Aid?
No,
honestly, Terrion is a scarier name. His name is Terry On. Like, come on.
Man.
Terry On.
No, he
Kelly. Hey, Kelly's got some to add
Aid.
here. Kelly Arnold is absolutely can't talk. I'm so excited about this conversation. She says Arnold is absolutely more gritty and has more heart than Kool-Aid.
Yep.
Okay.
Kool-Aid been playing like what you call that? Then the cheap version of Kool-Aid, Flavor Aid. That's like
Jungle Juice.
He ain't been playing poorly now. Now, listen.
If
Kool-Aid was him, he would have had 3 interceptions by now.
Listen.
All right, guys, we're getting in the weeds.
He's still the top rated or second rated corner on Pro Football Focus. So, we can say that, but we still glad to have him as our other corner. It could have been a lot worse.
Could have been.
The guy that
Absolutely.
came in after him when he got hurt, he did a great job too.
Now,
Yes.
y'all gonna talk
Honestly,
about
I felt like we
I was about
elevated
to
our
say,
level. Go ahead,
I was
George.
scared, man, when he came in a little bit. Like JT was saying, he might not have been as scared. I'm just nervous anytime you have a backup come in.
Right.
The backup
And you
did
know they're
better.
gonna
But-
go
But
at
he
him.
did well against LSU though,
Yeah.
and they
He-
had better receivers.
And he's a
Yeah.
backup with wealth of experience too. This isn't just
Right.
some kid, coming off the bus, cutting his teeth on this game right here. So I was actually confident what I was going to say. I felt like our level of play actually went up a little bit when he came in.
Yep.
I wanted him in the game like earlier. That's the formation I wanted with Malachi Moore and Downs back deep with Amos, and then you put
Yeah, we
Terry
had
on the
3 good
star.
ones now. Yeah.
That's lethal. You ain't getting nothing on that. I'm
Right.
sorry.
Okay.
Hey Justin,
Yeah.
I want to say one thing, and people are not really giving this kid credit. Jalen Milroe did a good job. Everybody did a great job, but man, I'm still on the Proctor train. That guy's
Yes.
really grown, man. That
He's
kid
grown,
is really
yeah.
grown. He did
Yeah.
not allow a sack. He did his thing, man. That kid
Right.
did his thing. So yeah.
Hey, did y'all see the play where we put Pritchard in and he got blowed up on the little run? We
I
took him back out.
I didn't have my glasses on.
All right. Well, let's talk
Oh
about.
my goodness.
Let's move to our next subject. I want to talk about the plays that really changed the trajectory of the game. And we had a couple here and there, and we also were on the wrong end of it because it allowed Georgia to kind of creep back in. And like I said, Georgia makes their living off of people self-destructing. We got close, but we're Bama, and we don't do that. But Steve, let's start with you. What was a play, or maybe more than one play, do you felt like really shifted things for Alabama in this game?
I think again, Milroe holding the ball too long. I think he's going through his progressions a little slow at times, and I think it also has something to do with the play calling. It seems like when I was kind of watching it seems like every receiver went out down the seam just for a long ball. No check downs or anything. And he's just sitting there holding the ball. And when they sacked him, it kind of changed the momentum of the game. And then after they sacked him, we punted. Which was a bad punt, and the guy almost ran it back. It was like, here we go. So we just got to clean that up, and I think we'll be fine.
All right. Well, I guess in a positive light, what do you felt like really shifted things? Because Georgia seemed to be in control early, and we just looked like a team. Let's call it what it is. The first few series that had never been there before, but things kind of calmed down. What was the ultimate game changer for you?
For me?
Yes.
Oh, I wasn't really worried at first because it seems like to me Kevin Steele, he likes to kind of find out what you're running, and then he locks it down because after that, when they got the ball from then on, they really couldn't move the ball. He just made his adjustments and did what he did. So the defense looked really, really good. Of course we had a couple of blowups at times, but consistently we were really good.
Okay. I like that. I like that. Spoken by the star, y'all. That means y'all need to write that down. Before we get to Chris Owens, we got JD Long here with a super chat, $1.99. Kool-Aid better. They don't throw on Kool-Aid's side. Well, we appreciate that $1.99, JD. Rather than go down that rabbit hole again, we're going to have to divert that to an episode next week. Chris, to you, what stood out as the game changer for us that really put us in the driver's seat?
Two things for me, two different plays. One on the defensive side was that Dallas Turner sack when he long armed the left tackle into the quarterback.
Mhm.
I think that really got our edge rushers going. I feel like that gave us some momentum on defense. Everyone kind of picked up their level of play, especially up front. We started generating more and more pressure after that. And then on the offensive side, it was eerily similar to our game in 2021 where we scored right before half. And I feel like that score going into half, knowing that they were getting the ball back, if we had settled for a field goal, then that would have set up a potential for them to come out of half and even take the lead. So us going up by 10, coming out, and I forget what happened on the drive after, but I do feel like that really helped us go into the half with a positive note.
Agreed. Luscion, he could pick from a couple of things that kind of shifted momentum. Alabama was in the driver's seat. I know at times we might not have felt like it, but the reality was we were. But speak on it, bud.
Defensively, I'm going to highlight one player right now that he might not have shown up every time in the stat book, but that's going to be Caleb Downs. He affected what the secondary had going on and what their offense tried to do with their crossing routes, and most importantly, Brock Bowers. He
Shut
was
him down.
physical with Brock Bowers, and I don't think he's used to dealing with an athlete that has the pedigree and the athleticism to actually stay with him and be physical like Caleb Dowds did. Now, on the offensive side, I think it's going to have to be the offensive line as a whole, because we've heard all year about how good Georgia's defense was, how they're going to get our offensive line. And I felt like our offensive line more than met the challenge. I saw them throwing bodies. And if our offensive line is throwing bodies, I mean, if they get a penalty and it's holding, but they toss somebody, I can live with that, because that means our offense, once our offensive line sets a tone, and our running backs can eat. And that's exactly what happened.
And who better this year, really, than was the emerging star, Jaden Roberts. My gosh. I don't know if you've seen the images that have been produced of him here lately, but they basically put the Incredible Hulk's body in his pads. And that's the best way you can describe him. Hulk did smash tonight. There are several players that he came across that I think were making life decisions at that point of whether or not they should sit football out and maybe take ballet or soldier on. And for the ones who soldiered on, they definitely met with an awful demise. George, let's talk about what you saw. What changed things for Bama?
Yeah, so I just saw one of your comments about one of your viewers as well, but it's really playing off of what Chris Owens said about but I'm going to go right before the sack, because Lawson had a tackle for no gain, and then he had a tackle for a loss on the very next play, and then the sack right after that. So I think that whole defensive series right there, where there was 3 plays back to back that I think turned the tide into something good on defense. The most exciting play for me when I got up, when I was like, and I know it was late and we were getting close to it, about it being over, but it was the quarterback draw by Milroe. That I actually got up and started running around a little bit, because I knew oh shit, I dropped my papers and everything. I was like, we got it, because that showed me a lot about the staff too, that they held that for the right time at the right moment, didn't try to show it on any 3rd and short or 4th and short or something of that nature where you think it might be a pass. They pulled that out at the right time. So those were the 2 areas that I thought were the most impactful for our game.
Man, you brought some great points. It's hard to kind of catch everything because there were so many great things that went our way tonight. Hey, shout out to everybody here in the chat. Do your thing. Hit that like and subscribe button. Again, we are going live on 2 channels, the Bama Standard Network and Teague's Take YouTube channel. I encourage everybody after this show to go over to their platform, hit that like and subscribe button for them to show them some love. Dan James, the man who brings all the fans to the yard, other than Steve, of course. You're his understudy. What turned the tide? As George put it.
I'll have to say one play that really stood out to me was that fumble recovery by Tresman Marshall. That was huge. I wish we could have gotten 7 points instead of 3 out of that. But that was a huge turning point in the game, because, they were like, okay, Georgia's first critical mistake. They don't make many of them. And I was thinking we should have capitalized more. But that play right there, you don't get that often from Georgia. That's uncharacteristic of them, at that point in a game, at a critical moment in the game, they don't tend to make those kind of mistakes. And so we were very fortunate to be able to get that. But I think we got a little conservative on the play calling, especially on that second down, but we should have come away with 7 points. And another thing I just want to say, it ain't got nothing to do with it, but I was so sick of Gary Danielson mentioning Kirby Smart's name the whole entire game. Like the GOAT wasn't on the sideline. So
just like David Pollock, and David Pollock is somewhere quiet as hell, looking stupid right now. Looking very stupid.
I know he's not on Twitter. He can't.
I called him.
Oh, he is on Twitter. He's on Twitter.
He's not active now. He's not active right now. He can't be.
You called him collect, Steve? Well, how did the conversation go?
He wouldn't answer.
He wouldn't answer? Man, he ain't saved. That's why
I know he's not active right now.
I bet he red as hell.
Before I forget, can we talk about the ultimate victory tonight? Yeah, we're SEC champions, but here's the biggest stat. No more games with Gary Danielson.
Yes.
again.
Yes.
That's the best thing about tonight,
I
man.
know, man.
Hey, before JT gets his say, JD Long is throwing some money at us. So $9.99. Milroe might be the most cut quarterback in Saban's tenure. Since the Texas game, he
Number 2.
has been clutch when we needed him the most. Abso-freaking-lutely.
He's number 2.
He may not have his touch quite there yet. He may hold the ball too long to our great frustration, but you can't deny the heart of a champion. And this is a guy that a lot of our fan base wrote off to start the season. They said Alabama's going to lose 5 games or 6 games. We're going to Independence Bowl. Start Ty Simpson. Well, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole, but those who said those things, you know who you are. And it's funny, we hadn't been hearing from you here as of late, but I'm sure we'll see you at Walmart when he's signing autographs. JT, talk to us. What changed momentum for Bama?
So I think if we're looking for specific things, I really think it's the missed field goal. When Georgia went down there and knocked one off the upright, I think it was definitely I don't want to say a momentum shifter, but emotional swings from Georgia's sideline being like, yo, what is happening? We're missing field goals now, to Bama feeling like they made a big stop, which they did. So I think that was one. But one of the pieces of the game that I like to focus on is that middle 8, the last 4 minutes of the second half and the first 4 minutes, or the last 4 minutes of the first half and the first 4 minutes of the second half, especially when the team is about to end the half with the ball and then start the half with the ball again. Georgia had 3 real possessions in the first half. They ended the half with the ball, but they only had 2 plays. I believe it was 48 seconds left or something like that. But to give up the touchdown, then to follow it up with 2 punts, or a punt and then a missed field goal, I think that had already put Georgia on the back foot. I know there's still a whole half to play and all that kind of stuff, but that is something I think that was different for them, because I feel like when they came out of halftime, they felt like they had to press a little bit, because they thought, man, if the game is going this quick and we're only going to get the ball 3 more times and we're down 10, it's getting tight already, even though there's still 30 minutes left in the ball game. So I really think those last 2 possessions, not counting the one that Georgia actually ended the ball with, were huge, because they go into halftime feeling like this is the situation from the outside looks the same, but the feeling is actually different here. This is going in like, oh, we can actually get beat now. And then the other thing, I can't remember who said it now. We've had a lot of people go, but Caleb Downs being able to not necessarily just be versatile and play everywhere, whether he's deep or up, but one of the big things that I am very conscious of, being a defense coordinator myself, is safeties being able to help in the run fit. And even things as far as it's 3rd and goal and he's making a stop in the box in B gap to not give up 6 inches is huge. And those kind of things don't show up in the stat sheet. Those are things that you go back and film and you say, he played a great game, even though he may not have very many tackles, or he may not have very many PBUs or turnover or anything. He's where he's supposed to be. He's either turning the ball back in or he's spilling it out to a linebacker. Those things are huge. And when you can get play from your DBs like that to help your linebackers, I think that's one of the best ways, especially when you're running a 2-high defense like that, to mitigate run game.
Hey, man, I like you. This is why I like him, Justin. Hey, man, come to Atlanta. We're going to hang out. I'm going to take you to 40 and up. That's why all the strippers 40 and up. But it's don't be scared. Just come in. Someone be passing out and everything. But it's okay. Just come on. I got you, bro.
I can't admit that he likes older women. Shout out.
But you know what? Don't worry about it. I take him to 50. I take him to 50 and up. I take him to 50.
Hey, Steve. Steve, what's the cover charge?
It ain't when you go with Steve.
You just got to pay your way out. You got to pay your way out, bro.
You go to strip clubs where they sell fried chicken and French fries.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody watching. Ain't nobody
They got a
watching
potluck
the
on Tuesday nights.
Hey, they give you lap dances while they eat hot wings.
You can come get a lap dance and a plate Tuesday in the morning at 9:30.
Hey, to help him out going to the club, we got some super chats here. Jason Haywood, $5 today. We hit Georgia in the mouth, just like George Teague hit T.O. for celebrating on the Star.
That's right.
SEC champs, baby. RTR.
Wait, that was you?
Dog.
Who just asked me if that was me?
Me, I'm only
Was that
25.
him?
I didn't know. I'm young. I didn't know.
Dang, he said I'm only 25.
Hey,
Wow.
Hey, kick him off. We need to kick him off. We need to suspend him. You didn't know that was him?
No,
I know, and then he want to take his shades off at me at the beginning of the show, like I actually did something wrong. That's blasphemy. Now, come on, man.
Hey, that's right there up you with picking Georgia, in my opinion.
Oh my God,
Steve, we
Nah,
just
bro.
brought him on staff too.
Well, and I like Chris Owens too, so I'm the new Steve Brown. I was like, man,
I know they still showing the play up on the jumbotron before the game.
But now, man, I'm like, hey, man, we got to talk after this, man.
Yeah, we gonna have to
Hey, you
suspend
need
him
to have a
for
long
jump.
conversation with him.
Suspend. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna make you come to that strip club with us and throw up. Yeah.
No. I'm gonna stay right.
He's only 25. He can't handle that. He can't handle that.
I'm dead. I'm dead after you said you have to pay your way out.
Go ahead, Justin. Let's carry us on.
We got another super chat from Kelly Weathersby, $9.99. So proud of Proctor. His best game of the year. Milroe has carried the weight of the world on his shoulders, and now he's MVP. Roll Tide, everyone.
Yes, sir.
Justin, who is Kelly? Ever since you've been here, she's been
Don't worry about it.
What's really going on?
Don't worry about it.
She does. I seen the standard on
Listen,
Tuesday.
Steve.
That was all in the super chat, Justin.
Hey, Justin, shut that down. He said, "Don't worry about it."
Don't worry about it.
Just know, I
He's with that
reactivated
big
my MySpace 2 weeks ago. And I was
MySpace.
Oh, with that cover song?
exactly.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Man, let's try to reel it back in a little bit. Yeah, my cover song was Ron Isley, Contagious. All right, back on track. All right, it's time to talk about the inevitable. At this point in the show, we always like to talk about what's next for Bama. Well, what's next for Bama comes tomorrow. The committee makes their ultimate decision. We were on George Teague's show earlier this week, and it turned out to be a very big cluster. I came away more confused than when I went in. But we talked about the playoffs,
That's
nonetheless.
Bo's fault.
That was Bo's fault.
That's Bo's fault.
Bo was speaking in hieroglyphics, actually.
He said he put it out there real clear, though.
Yeah,
and then spoke for another 30 seconds trying to explain what he was saying.
Yeah, Bo was speaking in cursive, but it's okay.
We love you, Bo, if you're watching.
Yeah,
A lot of our fans don't even know what cursive is.
It's true. Well,
Chris
Steve Brown,
Owens
start us out, man.
Chris Owens don't know what cursive is. He's
Yeah, Chris Owens like, are those hieroglyphics? I seen cursive in Courtney Upshaw's name once, but
Chris is like, what's a MySpace?
I had to learn a little bit in order to write my signature. I had to learn a little bit.
But Steve Brown, start us off, man. You're the star, so people are going to listen to you actually put some weight into it. Where does the playoff committee go tomorrow? We got a game playing right now. Louisville and Florida State just got kicked off. Our attention is definitely geared towards that. But does the committee do the right thing and put Alabama, who just beat the #1 team in the country, out in the playoffs?
Hey man, based on our resume and us beating Georgia, they have to be in the playoffs. To me personally, I think that the committee doesn't want an SEC team in the playoff period. That's just, from what I'm looking at. But Bama has to be in the playoffs for doing what they did today. They do look like they're one of the best 4 teams in the land, and it'll be crazy if they don't make it in. But I see them making it in, and I'm not speaking, being biased. It's just they're one of the best 4 teams.
I like it. Chris Owens. We've been messing with you a little bit tonight, but You do bring some value here, so we appreciate you, brother.
Thanks.
What direction does the playoff committee go tomorrow?
Yeah, I do think with this win, I do believe we're one of the best 4 teams. Obviously, we've had that roadblock of Texas ahead of us all season, and with the way they played today, I do also believe they're one of the best 4 teams. So I kind of have this mindset that regardless of Florida State, let's say they win tonight, I think you shouldn't discount the fact that they went 13-0, won their conference, but you need to really evaluate, does their schedule, does their resume match up to what you see of us, what you see of Texas? Obviously, Washington winning, they're in. If Michigan goes on and wins, I think they're 23-point favorites. They'll be in. But I don't think Florida State should have as guarantee of a spot as people believe. So if it's me, if all things even out, the favorites continue to win, I would have us in Texas in.
Yeah, easily the 2 best teams in the country right now. And you could argue that the playoff committee has been holding it against us that loss to Texas, but I've ventured to say it's not just the loss to Texas. They were actually holding the win over USF against us. They were actually holding the other wins that we escaped out of against us. They felt like the teams that we beat weren't convincing enough. They were inferior to us. But then we shift to Tennessee, to LSU, and now Georgia. You can't deny that. You can't hold anything against us. I feel like these big wins over big names trumps anything that you said we didn't do right at the beginning of the season. Luscion, take over for me.
I don't really know what this committee is going to do. They've contradicted themselves every other week that something's come out, whether it's strength of schedule, who you're playing, how many points you put up on a no-name opponent. If you're at home and you got a big win, or if you're at home and you get a big loss in the earlier part of the season, I don't know. But regardless of any of that, Kirk Herbstreit says something that should ring loud and clear to everybody in the college football playoff. Put the best 4 teams in the college football playoff. Flat out. It doesn't matter. It shouldn't matter, because last year you guys didn't stick with the whole conference champion thing because you put TCU and they got beat by Kansas State in their conference championship game. Put the best 4 teams in so we can actually keep college football's name how it should be. Because the moment you don't put the best 4 teams in the college football playoff, football, what we all love to know as college football, is going to be done. If you're not going to give the top awards to the top statistical leader in every category, then why are we even here? Why are we playing college football? Put the best 4 teams in so we can get the best show.
I agree. Before we move on to George, I just want to make an announcement. We actually have partnered with Title Towel. Your game day experience is not complete unless you are waving your Title Towel. To go purchase yours, go to whitwillsports.com. Hey, we have a promo code. Enter in standard. You get you a nice little discount on your next purchase for Title Towel. George, help us explain it better than what we did on Wednesday.
You know what? I don't know if you guys see College Game Day today. I thought it was hilarious on what SEC commissioner said when they asked him about the rankings and what we had to do, and he said that one of these groups are doing their own thing. He was trying to make a Sesame Street analogy. He said that was the SEC. He said, we're doing our own thing. He didn't care about what anybody. It was kind of funny because he was throwing some shade at everybody. And then he went on to say, and we don't even have to sell signals to other people. So he took a shot at Michigan as well at the same time. I thought, oh, God, what is going on? It just made me think about that, because what came up was what Luscion was talking about as well, putting in the right people. So I actually feel that the top 4 teams, in my opinion, yes, are us. We should, based upon who we've won, what we've done, how we've played. We had some bad ones, like you said, Justin. Not USF, that's a bad one. But since then, we've done extremely well and gotten better every week. I agree with Chris, too, that Texas, what they did today, they were trying to make a statement to do it. I think, the way they played us. I see you, Steve. George. Put your hand down, Steve. Can't go to the bathroom right now, Steve.
Did they even bring their defense? They didn't even bring their defense.
You ask them.
Oklahoma
You're
State didn't
asking
bring
top
their
four. We're asking the top four because I think they're better than Florida State, right? As well, as are we. Michigan. Well, I think we're better than all of them, right? I think once we get in, that we win. But the rest, I think Michigan is in there, and I think Washington is in there. So I would take Washington, Michigan, Texas, and us, regardless if Florida State wins tonight or not. Honestly, just because I think we're better. It ain't got nothing to do with them playing with a third-string quarterback, Florida State, and all that. But I think it can make it easy for the committee if they go ahead and lose tonight. I think we go in at either number 3, since we're the conference champion in the SEC over Texas at 4. But if we get in at 3 or 4, it don't matter. I think we win the next round and we're in the national championship.
Hey, George, but did Oklahoma State even bring their defense? Did they even get off the bus?
Steve, actually, I want to address that. We live in a weird society now. Don't you agree? You see, what happened was they couldn't tackle him because they didn't obtain consent from Texas.
No, but you know, when you look at the play, I don't know if you really watched it. They had a lot of creative plays.
They did.
Stark beat them.
Trickery. Come on. I mean, he threw everything. You got defensive ends, catching touchdowns. The defense wasn't there.
But the tackling was atrocious. They were hitting them behind the line of scrimmage.
They got punked. I will give you that. But I think that is what is also saying why Texas, regardless, they destroyed physically and every other piece of the 18th ranked team in the country. It wasn't that close at all. They could have beat them. They could have hung 70 on them, I think.
Now that you said they got punked, that reminds me of what happened to me in the club last night. I just left.
Was it a girl that punked you, or was it that other dude?
Young dudes with their pants sagging. I just went on and left. I was gonna sag my pants, but I forgot I had no underwear on.
Or was it that one person? Hey,
it wouldn't have looked right.
Or was it that one person you had on your IG today that was talking about he was waiting for daddy?
Come
on, man.
Stay on my IG, dude. Stay on my IG.
Damn.
That's
a reminder.
Don't like the way you confronted me. JT don't like that. Just like
at all. That's a reminder to go to @Comic Steve Brown right now to check out the content that only you can find.
You come to @Teague Football too. I'll repost it. I'm gonna put it in the story. I'm gonna put everything on there so you know exactly what to find.
Get your daddy. Get him.
Real quick, we got a super chat. Dustin Thweet, $4.99. It's all a conspiracy. They want a good ending to the Pac-12, 30 for 30. That's why they kept Oregon just outside the top 4. Dan, we hadn't heard from you in quite some time, and you're all knowing, right? Where does the committee lean tomorrow? And then we'll get to JT to wrap this up.
Not only am I going to give you the 4 teams, I'm going to give you
the what?
Wow.
Who cares? Just make that cord.
That Boost Mobile internet got him again.
I think he was about to say crabs and got censored. I don't know.
Yeah.
Got hit with a violation midstream, like
Shout out to Boost Mobile. Go ahead, Dan. He's still there.
Man, he's so frozen. He like them Georgia fans on that one pass to Burton.
Yeah.
Hey, as a tribute to him, everybody just freeze real quick. JT laughed.
Chris was moving though. Chris is right there.
I know Chris.
He's only 25. He don't know how to stand still yet.
He left.
This next segment in memory of Dan Book Harrigan killed him. JT, let's get to you, brother. Help us close this out, and then we'll get to our players of the game.
So I think that the SEC champion is in. I don't see how. I don't see how the committee could weasel their way out of that. As Greg Sankey said this morning, they've got 5 teams in the top 15. So that's a third of the top 15 are SEC teams. Regardless of how you slice it, before the game, the winner of this game would have been undefeated in SEC play anyway. So your options, I think, even if Florida State wins, is an undefeated Pac-12 team. Or undefeated Pac-12 champion. Sorry, an undefeated Big Ten champion, a 1-loss Big 12 champion, a 1-loss SEC champion, and an undefeated ACC champion. Now, I went just to look at the top 25, and the ACC is not well represented, but it does matter at the, most of us are only concerned with the top 10, but it matters how the committee ranks those last 15 teams. Mm-hmm. So now when you're comparing those resumes, yes, you have the head-to-head, but you've got Alabama who just beat who the committee said is their number 1 team. So I think that has to mean something. They've got 4 wins over the top 25. They have no losses to anybody in the top 25, while even though Texas does have 3 wins in the top 25, one of them being Alabama, they do have a loss in conference also to a top 25 team. So although I do think Texas is still one of the best 4 teams, I think it really opens the door to try to leave Florida State out, because the committee does have a criteria in which they can use. And one of those is the health of the roster. So there's already one thing they can be like, hey, here's Florida State. Here's one of your red flags that we have going into this, especially since they're down to their 3rd guy, apparently. So all that to say, I really do think Georgia's fallen out of the top 4. I don't see 2 SEC teams getting in here. I don't see a non-champion getting in the playoff. I'll put it that way. I don't see a non-conference champion getting in the playoff. There are too many high-profile conference champions, so I think they look at this and say, Georgia, this was your playing game, and you're out. That's unfortunate, but that's the way it is. So I think it's probably going to be Texas, Alabama, Washington, and Michigan. I don't know what the order is going to be. I would say Alabama's probably going to be in at 4. I don't know if they can. 4 spots is a big enough jump. I don't know if they can get to 5 or 6 spots. But I do think Georgia's going to come down to 5. I think Ohio State's probably going to come down to 7, and Texas probably will jump up 4 spots to 3. Okay. And the last thing was Boo Kerrigan, whether we believe what he says or not, but he did make a pretty emphatic statement. I can't remember if it was this morning or I think it was Tuesday, but he said the committee's selection is not to find the deserving teams. They're supposed to find the best. That's what he said on live television. He said, I don't care. We're gonna put the 4 best teams in, and I really think that was him kind of saying, Florida State, you're not getting in. Sorry.
I like it. Well, folks, our illustrious star, Steve Brown, has to jump off. But before he goes, Steve, first of all, thank you for jumping in. We couldn't have this show without you, sir. But also, give us your players of the game, and then we'll see you next week.
Honestly, man, I just because this kid has gotten so much, I wouldn't say hate from the fans, because he was a slow bloomer, but I'm just so proud of Caden Proctor, man. I'm proud that kid, his growth and him sticking with it, man, because our fan base, even me, we were on that kid, man. So I gotta say him, and of course Tyrion Honor. I mean, I just gotta give it to the team, man. All of them look good, man. But the person that stood out to me most was the so-called weakest link on Bama's offense, and Proctor. That's my guy. So I'm really proud of his growth, man.
Absolutely. And real quick, tell folks how they can find you on social media.
Yes. IG Comic Steve Brown, one word, Comic Steve Brown, and Facebook Comedian Steve Brown fan page. Comedian
right.
Steve Brown fan page. Guys, it was great hanging out with y'all, man. But I gotta get to work. Yeah, I'll chop it up with y'all next time.
Sounds good, brother. Take
All right,
care.
Steve, take
Roll
care,
Tide.
Roll Tide, brother.
And also dropping off is going to be JT. We greatly appreciate you coming on, sir, and having fun with us and helping us celebrate and break it down. Before you head out, talk to us about Teague's Take, and then also where folks can find you when you're actually on social media from time to time.
If I'm on social media, it's on Twitter because I refuse to call it X. So the platform formerly known as Twitter, I guess, at BamaJ13. I don't tweet, so if you want to follow me, that's fine, but don't look for anything from me. You can also find me at Teague's Take on Wednesdays with George. I'm the producer over there, so if technical problems arise, it's George's fault, not mine. I just try to help him work through it. And I also do post every week the computer model for the teams on teagstake.com/blog/rankings. I think I'm supposed to give my players of the game. I'm going to go with the offensive line as a whole, with 1B of Jalen Milroe. I thought he played a very good game. I thought he was decisive. I thought last week he was not decisive. I think this week he was very decisive, but he had the time to do it with the offensive line play this week. And on defense, I'm going to go with Caleb Downs. Caleb Downs is not going to show up in the stat sheet, but I think that's something that when you go back and watch the tape, he's going to be a guy that was doing a lot of dirty work that needs to be done in order to allow other people to make plays. So I appreciate you guys having me on. Come find us, come find our shows, come find our film breakdowns. That's one thing we do. We do film breakdowns in the middle of the show on Wednesdays. And then we also try to upload 2 more videos doing film breakdowns after that. So
Yeah, we greatly appreciate you, brother. Have a great night. Roll Tide. We see you next week on Teague's Take.
Sure.
yes, sir. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Hey, and I'll remind everybody right now, we are simulcasting not only on the Bama Standard Network, but also Teague's Take YouTube channel after the show. Go over there, show them some love, give us a subscribe and give it like and follows and all that great stuff. We definitely would appreciate if you show them the proper love that you show us. Okay, now there are 4 remaining 4 horsemen to give their players of the game. And then we're going to close things out. Chris, start it out. And then we'll go to Luscion and George. We'll round it out.
So for offense, I think I'm going to go Jam Miller. I think the attitude that he brought running the ball, he had the touchdown catch out of the backfield, but his attitude he brought running the ball combined with the way our offensive line playing, it really created that really physical mentality that our offense has been building on throughout the year. And so to have that in the most important game, set the tone. When we wanted to run the ball, we could. In my opinion, I feel like we could do anything we wanted to do this game if we didn't get in our own way. So I'm going to go with Jam on offense. And on defense, I'm going to go with Trey Amos. I think him stepping up and then immediately testing him in the red zone in a spot where we really needed to get a stop, and for his consistent play throughout the duration of that game, that was really big for us because we don't know the status update of Kool-Aid yet. Well, at least I don't. They may have put it out. But, for him to step in like that, that really gives him some confidence for if we do need him down the line to play.
Absolutely. I like those picks. Luscion.
I got 2 offensive players of the game, and I'm going to take a page from Chris's book, and I'm going to put our offensive player of the game were both of our guards this game. Jaden Roberts and Booker were just absolute maniacs. They handled what Georgia had in the middle, and at the same time, they tossed a lot of them boys in the middle. So that allowed for our offense to do what we needed to do at the proper time. So that's why they're my offensive players of the game. Defensively, I'm going to go with my man Caleb Downs because, like I said earlier, he turned Brock Bowers. I'm not going to say he didn't eliminate Brock Bowers, but he made Brock Bowers' life very difficult. He created plays in the running game, opportunities for other people to make plays, turn the ball back in, did his job. So that's why he gets my defensive player of the game.
All right. I like that. George, who did you see that made a difference in your life?
Before I say that, since JT's not on here anymore, sometimes I have to do the podcast by myself and I become the producer. It's still JT's fault if things don't work right.
I'm glad you addressed that. I love how he threw shade earlier.
I don't shy away from it. That's not. I stay in my lane when I'm supposed to be doing something else. When y'all put me on the limb and just like y'all had me today doing all kind of stuff I ain't supposed to be doing. But anyway, so you know what? It's amazing when you hear about all the good things that are happening in a tough game like this. There are some negatives and all that. I got it. But so many guys stepped up. So it makes it hard for this to be talked about. But for me, my players of the game on offense, I actually want to go with Isaiah Bond just because he had to step up at the right time. Burton was making plays, had some, big touchdowns. You talk about the running backs getting it. But when it came crucial in the second half, he was getting the ball. And making plays and doing that. So that was pretty awesome to see because then you got to worry about it when you start looking at film as a coach next time. Oh, we thought it was only this guy, but no. Okay, and then on defense, I want to same kind of thing, but I want to talk about two people for two different reasons, but maybe just one. And Terrion Arnold and Malaki Moore. I'm throwing Malaki Moore in there because they had to do things with safeties to be able to help stop the run. We were very good up front, but if you notice in the second half too, we started changing up what we do on defense, putting 8 guys in the box and challenging our DBs to play man-to-man a lot more than usual. And when we didn't, we were getting gashed, right? And you saw a lot of holes when we were out there playing zone. So I like Terrion Arnold. Physical play as a corner coming up, getting involved, putting his body on the line, totally awesome. Lift it up and to make guys around him better. So that's it for me.
Awesome. I won't go into a long story. I'm going to do what's right. Let's give it to Jalen Milroe. Like I said, he has endured a lot of criticism, downright crucified at times, only to rise the hero. He wasn't perfect today, but he was perfect when he needed to be, and he completed things. The story's not over yet. Hopefully we got 2 more games to go. But for now, he is the champion in my eyes. Defensively, there's so many people we could go with here. But Terrion, I mentioned earlier, he comes up at big moments, and he's not afraid who's in front of him. He's going to take him down. He's going to challenge him and not apologize for it. So that's who I got. All right, folks, it's time to bring everything to a close. I'm going to give it to you to prop what you got. Tell folks what you have, and also, tell them how to find you. Chris Owens, start us out, then Luscion and George, and I'll close up shop.
Yeah, so I'm not really on social media much, but you guys can add me on PlayStation Network at BG Chris Owens. I play Fortnite, a little bit of Call of Duty. Might play Minecraft, Roblox a little bit. So, yeah, that's where I am usually.
I like it. Luscion, you got a couple of things that you're involved in, one of which is on Tuesday nights.
Yes, sir. You can find me on Tuesday nights on the Final Whistle, the second show on the Bama Standard at 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern on Tuesday nights, the Final Whistle, where we getting everything Alabama content in. And you can find me on Twitter at Rolush21. And stay tuned for the future because we got something big coming for you guys.
I like it. George, we talked about it a little bit before, but you got some things that people need to pay attention to. Tell them about it.
Yeah, so obviously, we would appreciate if you guys would get on over to the Teague Take YouTube page and give us a follow, subscribe there. But I am active on Twitter and on IG. I have a lot of fun, and I do have my opinions about stuff. I keep stuff positive most of the time, but I am at Teague Football on Twitter and Instagram. All right. So I have a lot of fun doing that. We do have Teague's Take page as well that we post on about the shows, but I'm so active with a lot of stuff, right? And so that's my only last little plug I ever got, particularly if you like professional stuff and the Dallas Cowboys and stuff, go to DallasCowboys.com, search Flashback. We actually showed a TV show live on Monday nights on Bally Southwest, where I get to do a lot of the same stuff that we do on Teague's Take in the second half, where I'm actually breaking down plays, drawing them up, talking about what's good, what's bad, and how to do it. So on Wednesday nights on Teague's Take, we're doing the plays about Alabama. On Monday nights, I actually do the Cowboy plays on television, so you get to see that, and it's pretty cool because I get to watch Cowboys every single week and get to do this right here. Chart everything, find out what plays are good and what's not, and then try to teach on why it actually worked. So I appreciate you giving us the support there as well.
You can also find them in a place you probably wouldn't think about. If you go to the Peacock app and look up in the WWE section, old episodes of Monday Nitro, WCW Monday Night Nitro, you can find him side by side, Hulk Hogan, as a member of the NWO.
That's right. That's right.
I never got to let you forget that, man. That was so awesome, bud.
Well, I came off the ropes like this, baby. Yeah, that's why I didn't do it right. My back. That's why my back started hurting right there. I signed a waiver with the Cowboys right after that. So
you're supposed to stomp your foot, George. Great show, gentlemen. I greatly appreciate everybody who was on with us on the panel. All-star cast for an all-star show. Thank you to everybody in the chat. Thank you for all the donations. We couldn't do it without you. What this doesn't mean it all stops. We got plenty to do until the decision is made, and then we find out where our destination ultimately will be. Catch us on all of our shows on this great network. On Tuesday night, 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern, the Bama Standard. And then the same night, 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern, the Final Whistle. Wednesday night, hey, we still got some legends doing legend things here on this network. 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern. We got Cishi Payne with the Crimson Dynasty. Chris Owens is a part of that as well. And then 8:15 p.m. Central, 9:15 p.m. Eastern, not only on this channel, but on Teague's Take YouTube channel, you will find Teague's Take. And then on the weekends, right after games, the Bama Standard post-game show will be going live. But again, Bama, SEC champs, 27-24 over them Bulldogs. And it's funny, they told us we probably shouldn't even show up this week, but we showed up and we reminded everybody we're still Bama. Roll Tide, guys.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.